5 tips to dealing with children and stepchildren in your business. Or, as an entrepreneur, your children are a minefield and your stepchildren are nuclear missiles. This is another one of the Solopreneur Mastermind Group's Blazing Solos, one session mini courses on a single topic that include either an exercise, assessment, or contemplative questions. This particular course concludes with 5 tips which are also rephrased as contemplative questions for you to ponder in your business. One of the cool things about being an entrepreneur is that you may have the opportunity to provide employment and a legacy for your family. A source of satisfaction for many small business owners is working side by side with children or stepchildren. Often, entrepreneurs create a hierarchy within their business which not only makes room for children, but also provides for the children to carry on the business when the owner retires, as more likely winds up being carried out of the office feet first. And as is often true in all phases of parenting, children can be a great joy, a treasure. They can also be a buried treasure or a great disaster. If you have children and have dreams of them working with you and later succeeding you in your company, you already have the romantic vision of how good it can be. And in many situations, the kids can be a bona fide blessing, a treasure for your entrepreneurial endeavors. I'm here to act a little bit as your wet blanket, however, so I'd like you to consider instead the following. What if you have children, but they don't want to have anything to do with your business, no interest? Or you have children and they'd love to work with you in your business, but you can't generate enough revenue to put this plan in effect. You have children and they want to work in your business, but one or more of them are, and please check as many as apply, a substance abuser, an alcohol abuser, incompetent, lazy, have a personality incompatible with yours, immature, just plain unsuited for your business. You have children, one of whom works with you in your business and the others don't. Most of your net worth is tied up in your business. How can you fairly arrange your estate plan? You have a child that works with you in your business and is an awesome contributor to it. So awesome, in fact, that the business would run better if you would just get out of the way and let her do it her way. You have one or more children who work with you in your business, but your business also has other non-family members who are key contributors. Your key people are frustrated because they think no matter how much they add to the success of your business, they know your daughter's going to wind up getting it someday and they'll get nothing. I'm sure if you sat down and thought like a lawyer, oops, I know you just felt a shiver run down your spine, you could come up with numerous additional examples. Is it cool to have a business where your kids might someday look up at your picture on the wall and say, "Thanks, Mom," as they successfully navigate your vision through the next 50 years? You bet. Can it be a lonely feeling if you don't have kids and would want that? Maybe. Are there instances where the person with children would want to trade places with the childless or vice versa? Check the list out above. Having children that may someday work with you and thereafter replace you is kind of like walking through a minefield. Now, we only venture through minefields when we know there's something worthwhile we need to get to on the other side. And we know we can do it safely if we have the right tools, are patient, and learn the best ways to avoid stepping on the explosives. Now, if your children are a minefield, what about your stepkids? Well, they could be nuclear missiles. Remember the old 70s TV sitcom, The Brady Bunch? You know, the story of the lovely lady who had 3 girls of her own, and she married the widower with 3 boys. They lived together with the housekeeper and the dog, and while they had conflicts, somehow in 20 or 22 minutes, they were able to settle them and move forward with a blissful suburban life. Now, I don't remember this sitcom discussing whether stepmom or stepdad ever adopted the kids. I do remember Mr. Brady was an architect and I think an entrepreneur. If they ever discussed any of the kids coming aboard to take over the Brady firm, I don't think it was dealt with as seriously as exploding volcano school projects or broken noses. The blended family is now a staple of American life, and while 3 stepsisters and 3 stepbrothers may have been a novelty in 1972, it's almost a norm now. Well, okay, a lot of people really don't have that many kids anymore, but stepchildren living under the roof with a step-parent is very common. One distinction between our sitcom blended family and our modern suburban blended family is that most stepchildren have 3 or 4 parents rather than just 2. In other words, the widower meets widow scenario is much less common than divorced dad marrying divorced mom. Many children now have biological dad who's married stepmom and biological mom who's married stepdad. And with greater societal acceptance of gay civil unions and marriage and family of choice joining biological family as a common household unit, further blending of children into the mix is inevitable and is occurring. What if instead of a child wanting to work with you in your business, it was your stepchild instead? Again, this could be a really cool thing to happen. Sometimes stepchildren bond better with stepmom or stepdad than even with their biological parents. Sometimes stepmom only has stepchildren. She doesn't have any of her own. And sometimes the stepchild winds up being the key ingredient in the entrepreneurial stew. But it doesn't take a lot of imagination to come up with scenarios involving biological children and stepchildren in family businesses to create more conflict than the Brady Bunch could have dealt with in any one season. Add to that 1 or more biological parents who might whisper in the ear of the stepchild of the business owner, and you could stir up quite a battle. And while we can all learn to navigate a minefield using the right tools, training, and skill, adding 1 or more stepchildren to the mix ramps up the lethalness of this situation. And unlike the old Soviet Union and the US during the Cold War, you might not have any missiles to point back in furtherance of a MAD doctrine. Remember MAD, mutual assured destruction? Again, stepchildren can be a blessing and a joy for many reasons, some of which have absolutely nothing to do with business. And a stepchild can also bring a different, fresh, and sometimes more effective perspective working side by side with you in your company. If, however, the relationship is a sour one or becomes that way, it isn't difficult for the stepchild-step-parent relationship to crater a business at some point. Well, what do you need? You need a map. Actually, you need more than a map to get through the minefield and the missiles. You need an action plan. And whether it's children, stepchildren, or really any familial relationship, you need to know how to best avoid the mines and the missiles. Here are 5 tips or action steps to consider in being more proactive in these situations. Our first tip is for you to be direct, don't assume, and don't be the strong silent type. Even if a family member currently works in your business with you, don't presume she's your successor. Moreover, if you have more than 1 child or stepchild or interested family members, you need to discuss succession planning with them. Making assumptions, burying the issue because, hey, it's difficult to talk about it, or leaving it for everybody else to figure it out when the time comes, these are not answers. Yeah, the issue can be unpleasant for you as a business owner because maybe you don't plan to retire. Maybe you believe you're going to be carried out the door as your business will end when you do. It's kind of like talking about wills, end-of-life issues, funeral planning, or any one of a plethora of entertaining and really lighthearted stuff, isn't it? But much like these concerns, business succession planning won't fix itself. And if you truly care for your family, you're not going to leave a mess for them to clean up. And remember, just because you wash the car doesn't mean it's going to rain. Now, you're probably going to need to value your business, and this is especially important if you've been in operation for quite a while and your business is doing well. Valuations have become more challenging as most businesses don't manufacture products anymore. We typically sell services or information, which are a little trickier. But experts exist that can help put together some numbers for you. And you may be surprised, pleasantly or unpleasantly, at what your creation is really worth. Our third tip is you could consider an advisory group. You could include as many or all of your children as stepchildren as you wish. Consider also advisors loyal to you but neutral towards your family, such as an accountant, an attorney, a consultant, a life coach, a business coach. Putting this into more formal context and running your business like a business rather than a family discussion about where to go on vacation is a more effective tool for these situations. You want to bring your attorney and accountant on board anyway because you may wind up with things like buy-sell agreements, stock redemption agreements, wills, trusts, or other formal documentation of business succession Documents will likely be called upon to memorialize any plans you do make. Our fourth tip is to encourage you to not let conflicts simmer. If problems become serious, consider a mediator, clergy, or other trusted advisor to reopen those lines of communication. Sadly, family estrangements are common in closely held business situations. Small or even petty disagreements can escalate rapidly. The old folk advice about nipping something in the bud certainly applies here. And finally, understand that your dream may or may not be their dream. While it initially may disappoint you, it's okay if none of your family members have a strong desire to succeed you. You can leave your legacy to them by creating a wildly successful business that can be sold either when you retire or when you're through, however you want to define that. And the cash can provide not only for you, but also for your family equally as well. Well, I encourage you to contemplate these 5 tips and see how they apply to your particular business. Understand that your dream may not be their dream. Be sure that you don't let conflicts simmer. Think about an advisory group and who might participate in that. Look at valuing your business. And as always, be direct, don't assume, don't bury the issue. Well, we hope you enjoyed this mini course, this Blazing Solo. We encourage you to check out many of our other offerings that we have available for you on your membership group. Till next time.